Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. You had a good Thanksgiving. You had a good Easter weekend. You are doing well. You are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you are stuffed full of chocolate, I am sure. And hey, well, now we have Computer America for you, and hey, it's going to be a lot of fun. So today on the program, if you haven't checked the show notes available at computeramerica.com, well, we have an entire show dedicated to computer and technology news, which works, really well for us because we have a ton of news that we'd like to catch up on. And so for anyone new, this is going to be a segment dedicated to, just anything and everything that we feel you should really know about. So a couple things before we get started, including computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find the show notes and everything that we have to offer right there, along with reviews, interviews from a lot of different companies, articles that we write, just a smattering of everything. And of course, while you're there, check out the live streaming page, which is brought to you by OWC. And check out a lot there. Let's see, anything else? I think for now, we're going to say that's okay. And I think we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this because, on Friday we had a great interview with Nathan Evans, and hey, you can find that in many, many more archives wherever podcasts are heard. So be sure to check them out there as well. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started with computer and technology news. And again, this is brought to you by OWC. So here we go. All right, so I think for our first story, we're going to start off with something fun, something easy, and hey, this is going to be fun because this was actually published yesterday, and what better time for an Easter egg than on Easter? So for those of you not familiar, an Easter egg is a hidden bit of either a hidden reference or a hidden part of a game, or even in movies, film, cinema, any kind of media. Just an Easter egg is like a little tidbit that's hidden, and in some cases, very, very well. And they are sprinkled throughout, pop culture. And, looks like there was a new Easter egg discovered, get this, on an Atari Jaguar cartridge. Yeah, Atari. That Atari. Yes, the one from way long ago. So this coming to us from Ars Technica, and they said that a modern day publisher, Atari Age, confirms secret has been hidden on carts for a year. Here you go. So the term Easter egg has long been used to describe hidden goodies inside of software and video games, but it's not often that game companies use the designated Easter holiday to actually announce the things. So that changed on Sunday, where an out-of-nowhere announcement from Atari Age, a modern-day retro publisher known for releasing games for Atari systems like the 2600 and the Jaguar. So, all right, so it's Atari, but built for, modern Ataris. So, all right. So anyways, Atari Age released the Jeff Minter Classics Collection last year, which was billed as two 80s Minter games combined onto a single Jaguar cartridge. So they said that Sunday's news confirmed that Atari Age's sales pitch was a mistruth, saying that 3 Minter Classics shipped on the cartridge and its owners can now access the third game. And this was, for anyone out there who recognizes the name, this is 1982's Grid Runner, is the game that was hidden on the cartridge. And they said that the code was modern day wizardry into the cart's password screen. So do this once, and the retro-looking bullet hell game will permanently unlock in the cartridge via the main menu. And yeah, they have a screenshot there. You can see it there, and hey, pretty darn cool. So if you're wondering, no, this is not an April Fool's joke. Avid fans of the Atari Age forums immediately began posting personal screenshots to confirm that the unlock works. And turns out the project actually hid in plain sight on YouTube for over a year, though the February 2017 video didn't include any clues as to how to actually access this version. So yeah, again, if you are an Atari Age fan and you have one of these, again, modern day wizardry, and you get a third game absolutely free. So should you not have an Atari Jaguar handy, Minter is set to launch a PlayStation 4 update of Grid Runner in the near future, which will follow 2010's Grid Runner revolution for Windows PCs. Minter is also currently working on new game Tempest 4000 as an official release under the Atari brand, but we have no idea when that's launching, and last week's weird launch then retract move by Atari has Minter himself confused. So there you go. It's I thought that was interesting. Admittedly not as interesting as I first thought, because I thought this was an Easter egg that had been hidden for near 40 years, but turns out it was actually a modern reinvention of Atari that was then, kind of snuck in there with a third game. So, sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's cool that publishers do things just because they know that they can and they want to, because, you're not paying extra upfront for a third game, but he put it in there anyways, and then eventually, he had to announce it. So it's one of those things that he didn't have to, no one's asking him to, and that's the joy of Easter eggs, is that you find them, and hey, it's either a nod, a wink, a nudge, or in this case, a full-fledged third game. So there you go. All right, so there's that one. Always fun to start out light and fluffy here on a new Monday. Why don't we go ahead and... All right, how about this one? This one's interesting. For the longest time, if you are into networking, you will always know to check your DNS, because sometimes based on what DNS that you actually provide, or you tell your connection to go through, be it the one given to you by your internet provider, or be the one you go through maybe things like OpenDNS or even Google. That's the one that I usually tell my friends and family to connect to is 8.8.8.8. Subnet, subDNS, whatever it is, 8.8.4.4. That's been my go-to for the longest time. Well, it looks like Cloudflare has been working on a new one. And they say that this one is no April Fool's joke, because they felt that April 1st was the best day to launch this. And yes, there is a reason for it. But here you go. Cloudflare launches a new DNS service that will speed up your internet, or so it promises. Although that's not the truth. DNS simply routes your traffic and in some cases lowers your ping, which I guess can feel like a speed up, but it's not. It's not bumping your 100 megabit per second connection to 110. It's just again routing it a little bit faster potentially. So, anyways, Cloudflare launches 1.1.1.1. Hopefully you can remember that. So all one's DNS service. And they said that Cloudflare is launching its own consumer DNS service today on April Fool's Day that promises to speed up your internet connection and help keep it private. And that's another big thing, is the privacy that comes along with this. But they said that HTTPS 1.1.1.1, and it's not a joke, but an actual DNS resolver that anyone can use. Cloudflare claims it will be the internet's fastest, privacy-first consumer DNS service. While OpenDNS and Google DNS both exist, Cloudflare is focusing heavily on the privacy aspect of its own DNS service, with a promise to wipe all logs of DNS queries within 24 hours. Nice thought, but as much as we complain about, spying by foreign agencies, spying by ne'er-do-wells, spying by whoever, one of the biggest spies of consumers is, of course, our own government. And, if they can make this work and they don't get taken down for it, more power to them. But that's kind of hard to believe that, they'd let something like that slip through. But anyways, I digress. The story continues. DNS services are typically provided by internet service providers to resolve a domain name like google.com into a real IP address that routers and switches understand. So so computeramerica.com is not actually computeramerica.com to a computer. The computer recognizes it as, whatever IP address we have Computer America linked to. And then that's, kind of that switching back and forth is how you speak human to computers and computers to computers and computers to human. It's, a whole chain reaction. So DNSs are important, and they say that ISPs or any Wi-Fi network that you connect to can also use DNS servers to identify all sites that are visited, which presents privacy problems. DNS also played an important role in helping Turkish citizens avoid a Twitter ban. So Cloudflare has worked with APNIC, 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 to offer its DNS service through 1.1.1.1 and 1.0.0.1. So there's like a DNS, there's a primary and like a secondary, or I don't think it's a submask, but anyway, so it's like a primary and secondary. So it's all ones, and then 1001 is the second one. So lots of people have used 1.1.1.1 as a dummy address, and APNIC have tried in the past to analyze the flood traffic to the IP address and has been overwhelmed, saying that we talked to the team about how we wanted to create a privacy-first, extremely fast DNS system. And we offered Cloudflare's network to receive and study the garbage traffic in exchange for being able to offer a DNS resolver on the memorable IPs. And with that, 1.1.1.1 was born. So, yeah. And by the way, if you're wondering why April 1st, someone much smarter than myself on social media had already pointed out that there are 4 ones. And so 4-1 was April Fool's Day. And of course, yesterday. So, 1.1.1, there you go. So with that being said, Cloudflare's DNS is currently sitting at a global response time of 14 milliseconds compared to 20 milliseconds for OpenDNS and 34 milliseconds for Google's DNS, so it's the fastest DNS resolver for consumers. So, hey, this won't speed up your internet. That's probably a little poorly worded in the title, but it will help with latency and it will help with lag, and hey, might be worth giving a try because, it's a pretty easy setting to change and you could definitely try it out. So another point is that Cloudflare's DNS will offer support for both DNS over TLS and DNS over HTTPS. And the company is hoping that its HTTPS support will see more browsers and operating systems support the protocol. So, there's a little bit of give and take here, but overall, I think this is definitely a good thing. So this isn't the first time Cloudflare has helped the web with services. The Web Optimization Network deployed its universal SSL feature a few years ago to provide free SSL encryption to millions of websites. And the company is well known for offering DDoS protection to prevent sites from being overwhelmed by malicious traffic. So I think with all that said, give it a shot. Hey, it could be something you definitely want to try out. And by the way, if you want to check out their website and get more information, https://1.1.1.1. Not hard to remember. So there you have it. All right, so there's that. Little, not very technical, but at the same time, kind of interesting. Why don't we switch on over to? All right, we have a couple pieces of Tesla news. I think I want to save that for the second part of the show. All right, how about this one? This one's businessy. Apple, you may have heard of them. They make Macs. And they make computers in general and smartphones. And a lot of those systems have, for the longest time, like 10 plus years, have had Intel inside of the computers for its CPUs and what have yous. Well, this from Engadget, Mr. Rob Lefebvre, and he says that Apple will reportedly replace Intel chips in Macs with its own in 2020. So the plans are in the early stages, but this could happen as soon as 2 years from now. And this is no small point. I mean, one of the big reasons that Intel is seen as not just the leader, but the dominant leader when it comes to CPU chips and system on a chip, things like that, is because Intel really is embedded in a lot of these systems. And losing Mac, or at least losing Apple in a lot of the systems, because we had heard that Apple wanted to drop the Intel chipset for their iPhones and wanted to work with their own A10 chips. Sorry. So yeah, we'll definitely see where this goes. But at the same time, Apple has been manufacturing chips to use in its Macs for a while now, though the ARM-based silicon mostly backs up Intel's main CPUs during laptop power nap sessions. So the company also makes its own silicon for iOS and Apple Watch devices, but now, according to a report by Bloomberg, Apple plans to replace Intel components with its own chips for Macs starting as early as 2020. So 2 years, two short years. And the process, here we go. The process to replace Intel processors, which is being called Kalamata, kind of like the olive, I guess. Kalamata internally is still in its early stages. Apple-made chips make sense for the tech company, especially in the wake of the security issues around Intel's chip architecture. Although, I guess a fundamental flaw would be a pretty good reason to jump ship, but they did get it fixed with minimal impact to performance. So, there's something to be said for that, but hey, if you need to jump ship, then you got to do what you got to do. It won't be the first time Apple has switched the chips that power its computing devices, where, of course, with the switch to PowerPC architecture in the early 90s and then Intel in the mid-2000s, we've reached out to Apple for comment and will, of course, here at Engadget, they will edit this article, which we have a link to in the show notes. But I found this one pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. One, it shows that Intel, they make good chips, they make good hardware, but it's showing that their dominance, their absolute stomping of the market, may be starting to come to a halt, which isn't a bad thing for consumers, because when Intel is the only dominant chip maker, we saw a bit of stagnation. We saw a bit of, because designing new chips is hard. It's very, very complicated. And, everything from shrinking dies to fitting more, on more in less space is a very hard thing to do. And when you only had one that was really working on it, it really felt like, at least from the consumer point of view, the drive wasn't there. There was no incentive to push the envelope. And then AMD came out. They came swinging. They weren't, by any means, they were not, by and large, the new dominant, company. But they did show that Intel couldn't just rest on its laurels forever. And with Apple saying that they're going to do this, and as we said before, Apple is looking to replace Intel chips in their smartphones with the Apple A10 chipset. Apple looks to be another reason that Intel has to not just be the best, but be the most innovative as well. Because now you have, of course, you have things like Snapdragon, you have things like Qualcomm, you have things like Apple, you have, of course, AMD, you have a lot of different companies now. If they can't beat them in sheer production quantity, they're going to try to compete at least in innovation and maybe even in quality of chips. Because we saw with the redesign of the Intel chipset, they have a new one coming out that will fix the Spectre and the Meltdown security flaws. There's room for improvement, and there's room for a lot of improvement. So this is exciting. This is a good thing for consumers by and large. And hey, I'm not counting Intel out. Intel is still, even after this announcement, the industry leader in a lot of respects, including sales. But I'm hoping this pushes them a little bit further into trying to come up with a faster, smaller, more efficient chip. And that'd be great. And again, that'd be great for everyone. So there you go. Apple calling it out. Although this is, again, not very surprising if they're going to do it in their smartphones. Yeah, 2 years, they're going to do it in their computers as well. So there is that story. All right. Now, all right. We kind of did this one the other day. Though it was with an app in the iTunes store, I believe. Maybe it was in the Chrome store. But Chrome, they are going hardcore on this one. They no longer allow crypto mining extensions. At all, whatsoever. No more crypto mining extensions. Which, hey, probably a good thing. So here we go. This coming to us from, a couple of things. We covered this a little while ago, and I really, really, really apologize. I wish I remembered if it was with Chrome, but an app in the iTunes, I know there's one on iTunes, said that you can either pay us and you can use all their services. So it was a freemium model. You could use it for free and it has ads, or you can install a crypto miner and you could let us mine cryptocurrency using your system's unused power cycles, or your processing power that you weren't using, and you get all the premium features essentially, quote unquote, for free, for allowing us to mine cryptocurrency on your device. That was plagued by a couple of things, including the fact that it took over the majority of your processing power, not just the unused bit, but even the, used bits. So now we have this new announcement out from the Chrome store, and it turns out it's I guess it's a finicky enough market that they can do this, where Google announced today that it will be doing away with Chrome extensions and that mine cryptocurrency, where until now the Chrome Web Store has allowed these sorts of extensions provided that crypto mining is their only purpose and that users are fully informed of what they will do. Makes sense? But Google says that about 90% of crypto mining extensions developers have tried to bring to the Chrome Web Store haven't abided by these rules. And it's so weird. It seems like that should be a really easy rule to follow. Anyone who installs this knows what they're installing, and it does what they expect it to do. And if 90% of those can't meet those standards, this is probably a good thing. So those not complying have been rejected or removed from the store, but they won't be allowed in at all, saying that even if they adhere to the earlier standards. We're starting today, and this was published about an hour ago. Starting today, no crypto mining extensions will be accepted by the Chrome Web Store, and those already in the store will be removed in late June, saying that the extensions platform provides powerful capabilities that have enabled our developer community to build a vibrant catalog of extensions that help users get the most out of Chrome. Unfortunately, these same capabilities have attracted malicious software developers who attempt to abuse the platform at the expense of users, and that the policy is another step forward in ensuring that Chrome users can enjoy the benefits of extensions without exposing themselves to the hidden risk. And the hidden risk, again, I can only assume, is that an extension claims it does something, and then it does something else, and it doesn't fully explain itself, and in the background, you expect it to do this, instead it's doing that. And I guess cryptocurrency, as much as we talked about it, as much as we've even had a number of cryptocurrency companies here on the program, and even experts in the field, it's something along the lines of, why would we allow them to do that? So I guess that's where they landed. So cryptocurrency mining has become a popular strategy for raising funds, and that there have been a number of instances they show of crypto jacking, which companies like Tesla and Showtime, governments, and Android phones have fallen prey to it. And earlier this year, Salon began giving readers the option of turning sneeze. But anyways, they said they gave people the option of either turning off their ad blockers or letting the website mine for cryptocurrency instead. And again, this was using the processing power. And in January, an updated version of Opera gave users the option of blocking cryptocurrency mining scripts through its ad blocking software. So to be clear, we've seen this a couple of times, and even some of the largest surreptitious mining software that we have found. Admittedly, there may be some that are even more ubiquitous and are even better hidden, but of the ones that we found, I think there was one that infected like 160,000 government computers or something like that. It was an incredible number of computers. But even that one, it was running for like a week, and it only mined like $36 or something. It was not a lot of money. In fact, it was probably below what the electricity cost to actually run the computers. But as we said before on the show, if it's not your electricity and it's not your hardware, and it's not your problem, you just get the money out of it, you really don't care about how much electricity, hardware degradation, you don't care about any of that. You just put this out and you hope that, it does some work. So this is not a very profitable way to do things. So, I don't think businesses are hurting thinking that this is their next way out of whatever financial struggle that they're in. And I don't think hackers are truly looking at malware crypto mining as the next great way to make a buck illegally. So there you have it. No more crypto miners in the Chrome Web Store. And by the way, folks, if you haven't checked out the Chrome Web Store, we are not sponsored by Google, of course, but I will say that personally, I use a number of add-ons here for, just for Computer America. And, it's a pretty great way to go about browsing. So if you haven't checked out the Google Web Store, or at least the Chrome Web Store, check it out. But if you do, don't expect any cryptocurrency miners on the market. So with that being said, looks like we are about to head into break here at Computer America. Thank you for tuning in, and let's see. So when we come back, we're going to talk all about Tesla. We have two different stories, including how, Elon Musk April Fool's Day tweet didn't go over so well, and the federal investigators are looking into Tesla. So, folks, it's going to be fun. Stay tuned. Computer America.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast.
800-471-5325. 800-471-5325. 800-471-5325. That's 800-471-5325.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 32 minutes past the hour. And folks, if you are listening out there and you want to, get in on the action, you can, of course, send us an email to live@computeramerica.com where we will read it and, of course, respond to it on the air if we feel it is appropriate. Or you could just reach out and, say hi, try to... get a recommendation. If you want a company here on the show, we have more than enough tools to get anyone you'd like here interviewed. And of course, we can cover any kind of news stories that you'd like to hear about. So, if you want to help be part of the show and, just want to hear a certain thing, feel free to do that. Another way is, of course, we are starting to use more and more our live chat featured on YouTube. So we stream the show live to YouTube, and there is a live chat feature. We have not been using it, but hey, we are going to really start doing that and try to chat with you guys live if you like to talk with us. So you can find that and more at computeramerica.com. So as I said, the entire day today, we are doing computer and technology news. And like I said, when we come back, we have a couple of different stories. I kind of like this one. This one is super, super cool because I like space. I think a lot of people who are into technology are also into science in some respect. They're a very tight-knit, community. And so this one hopefully appeals to a lot of you, where Hubble, I know, that thing's still working. Hubble Space Telescope spots the furthest known star. That's right. So it's over 100 times farther away than the previous record. Isn't that just cool? We have a pretty good idea of the size and the scope of the universe, but we're still finding things like this in pictures that are just super, super cool. So here we go. Astronomers have spotted numerous extremely distant galaxies, but spotting individual stars is understandably much more difficult unless they go supernova. And sometimes, though, cosmic alignment works in their favor, where researchers using Hubble Space Telescope data have spotted Icarus, which, they have a whole scientific designation for what this is. but a blue supergiant whose light was emitted when it was 9 billion light years away from Earth. 9 billion light years. So they said that's over 100 times farther than the previous record setter. And that they captured the star thanks to a rare, ideal gravitational lensing effect where the star's light was magnified not only by the gravity of an in-between galaxy cluster, which was about 5 billion light years away from Earth, but by a star inside that cluster. And all told, the lensing magnified Icarus 2,000 times. Like, you know, and they have a photo there. If you're watching the live stream, you can see it there. It's just pretty crazy because I guess when you talk about light, you assume, you know, it's just one beam and the photons go out in a straight line, and you assume, oh, you know, there's a black hole that can suck it in. There's, you know, gravity can sometimes affect it. But this is like, you know, a needle and a haystack and a haystack and a haystack, 9 billion light years away. So observers have been keeping close watch on the cluster since 2014, when they detected a supernova that turned out to be present in a galaxy 9 billion light years away. And they realized Icarus was present in April 2016 when a point of light near the supernova seemed to change brightness. So, of course, don't get too attached to the new discovery. With this kind of distance, Icarus has long since turned into a neutron star or a black hole, and that the findings are still advancing science in ways you might not expect, saying, as they noted, the Icarus study ruled out a theory that dark matter consisted of black holes. That if that had been the case, they would have brightened Icarus even more. And if nothing else, this proves that humanity can detect more than just the largest and brightest celestial objects at these kinds of distances. So there you have it, 9 billion light years. I just can't get over that number. It's absolutely huge. So if you are traveling at the theoretical speed limit for the universe, 9 billion years later, you would finally come across this thing. And that means if you went back in time 9 billion years, you would be with this star. And considering that the universe is only, 14 billion years old? Who's keeping count anymore? Only about 14 billion years old. This thing has been around for a long, long time. These are numbers. I'm rattling them off. I don't think I truly understand, but I do understand 100 times farther. So there you go. Pretty incredible. Definitely check out the pictures. But like I said, if you're interested in technology, odds are you're interested in science as well. So, all right. So there's that one. All right. Let's talk about the Tesla news. So we have two Tesla stories. One of them is kind of fluffy, and the other one, Tesla's going to do what Tesla's going to do. So Tesla is now worth less than Ford. And I guess it's fair because there were a number of articles out there being released when Tesla's market share went that over Ford. So, it was like a couple months ago. They said that Tesla had overtaken Ford, and now it's the other way again. And this is to a 52-week low for the car company, Tesla. So they said that the Tesla stock price is falling, and in doing so has retreated on milestones it set last year. Where as a publication, the company's value is less than that of Ford's for the first time in a year. And at current levels, Tesla's market cap is $42.063 billion. Oh, that poor company. That poor $42 billion company. Saying that while Ford is trading at about $43.588 billion. And saying that it was about a year ago that Tesla overtook Ford's market cap. And both company stock prices are trading down on the day, though Tesla stock is seemingly crashing over the last week and is at a 52-week low. Saying that the company is still reeling from a week of bad news that included a mass recall, a report of manufacturing woes, and a fatal crash involving Tesla vehicle operating in its self-driving mode. Yeah, those are, for a car company, those are about as bad as stories get. So Ford stock is, however, trending up over the past month and is also trading around a 52-week low. Saying that much fanfare was made when Tesla took over Ford's market, and it was championed as the wave of the future, but some cautioned that the stock price was overvalued. Elon Musk seems to be taking the news well, tweeting in jest yesterday that the company is bankrupt. And, some people say that that may be one of the reasons that the stock price had tanked so quickly. You can see a picture there. It was a tweet. He is laying, for everyone out there listening on the radio, he is laying next to his car with a scruffy beard and a torn piece of cardboard where he had written in marker, bankrupt. So bank with a W instead of an R, bankrupt. And yeah, saying that Elon, and this is a tweet, saying Elon was found passed out against a Tesla Model 3 surrounded by Tesla Tequila bottles, the tracks of dried tears still visible on his cheeks. This is not a forward-looking statement because obviously, what's the point? Happy new month, and hey, that was the picture. So, yeah, I guess because so much of stock trading is done via bots or done via automatic, news aggregate bots, they kind of get an idea of the overall sentiment that people are experiencing about a company. So if these artificial intelligence sense an overall negative attitude towards, say, Tesla, Snapchat, Apple, Microsoft, fill in your tech company here, they'll sell. They will sell stock to kind of hedge their bets in saying, oh, there's an even bigger controversy coming. We're going to divest. And some people assume that just maybe, by Tesla and Elon Musk even putting out the word bankrupt anywhere near the word Tesla caused the stock price to go down a little bit more as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it probably was the stories. I'm sure investors are looking for a bit of reassurance. And this is not the end of any company. This is not the second coming of Ford. This is not the end of Tesla. It's just, hey, market fluctuations. They happen. So anyway, so there's that one. But as I said, we had another Tesla story I wanted to get to. And this one a bit more, saying that federal investigators are, quote unquote, unhappy. Tesla revealed crash details. And I'm kind of okay with this, but I can see where an active investigation would be a little bit more than upset. So this one by Mr. Steve Dent, and yeah, let's go ahead and drag that over there. From Engadget, saying that the driver's hands were off the wheel prior to the crash, Elon Musk said. Saying that the United States National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, said it is, quote unquote, unhappy. They're mad that Tesla released information about the fiery March 23rd crash that killed a driver. In a blog post on Friday, Elon Musk said that the autopilot was active when the Model 3 struck a highway barrier and caught fire. Yeesh. He also noted that according to the vehicle data, driver Wei Hong didn't have his hands on the steering wheel for 6 seconds prior to the crash into a disabled safety barrier. Saying that, and here we go, saying that, quote, in each of our investigations involving a Tesla vehicle, Tesla has been extremely cooperative on assisting with the vehicle data. And this was an agency spokesperson told the Washington Post. However, the NTSB is unhappy with the release of the investigation information by Tesla. The NTSB is looking into all aspects of the crash, including the driver's previous concerns about the autopilot. And they have a statement here from NTSB. Let's run through that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and move on. But they're saying that at this time, the NTSB needs the assistance of Tesla to decode the data the vehicle recorded. In each of our investigations involving a Tesla vehicle, Tesla has been extremely cooperative, and they said that the NTSB is unhappy with the release of the investigative, there we go, information by Tesla. We will work to determine the probable cause of the crash, and our next update of information about our investigation will likely be when we publish a preliminary report. And they said that which generally occurs within a few weeks of completion of field work. So with that being said, they said that autopilot, of course, is the semi-autonomous mode that can maintain cruise speed and follow distances and automatically change lanes under certain conditions. However, Tesla specifies that the drivers must keep their hands on the wheel and be ready to take control back. If the system detects a hands-off state for a set time, autopilot will warn the driver before disengaging. And the article has a way to fool it, but anyways, they said that actually, let's go back to some of his let's go back to some of the driver's hesitance, saying that they said that he had brought concerns to a Tesla dealership that his Model X had previously swerved toward the same median where the accident happened. That would be bad if it was in some kind of programming in the car. I mean, really, that would be a horrible, horrible thing. Not that it isn't already a horrible, horrible thing. A person lost their life. But if it was truly to the point of bad programming, that might be one of the first. So, let's see. So by issuing the statement on Friday, Tesla implied that the driver had not followed its guidelines, adding that the accident was exacerbated by a highway crash attenuator that had recently been crushed in a previous accident and had not yet been reset. I can only imagine those are those metal strips on poles that that catch cars. But yeah. So the NTSB took umbrage to Tesla's preliminary justification of the accident, saying that the investigation is still ongoing. At this time, the NTSB needs the assistance of Tesla to decode the vehicle. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're angry. They're angry. Tesla tried to get out ahead of the story, which is understandable. If the investigation is still going and one of the parties is out there running their mouth saying, here's the reason, it's hard to make a second first impression about what happened here. So Tesla had every reason to want to be out ahead of the story. Should they have been, though? Yeah, we'll see. Anywho, there you go. So there's that one. There's Tesla news, and yeah, Tesla not doing too hot today. All right, we have some time, and yeah, we have time for like one or two more stories. Let's do some of these. So this is one of our headlining stories, and Niantic, they make a game called Pokemon Go, and essentially Niantic paired up with the Pokemon Company to turn one of their geocaching games into a Pokemon game. It went very well. Pokemon Go, despite people not really talking about it anymore, still one of the most popular iOS and Android apps out there. It's it's a lot of fun, and I can see why people are still playing it. But Niantic, they did a no-no, where they are now paying a $1.6 million settlement over a failed Pokemon Go event. And they said that Niantic will pay nearly 1.6 billion. Wow. I'm so used to the word billion. Will pay $1.6 million to settle a class action lawsuit surrounding a disastrous Chicago anniversary event that left roughly 20,000 attendees without access to the game they had come to play. And that's according to TechCrunch, which has viewed the document filed in the Cook County Circuit Court, outlining a settlement website set to go up on May 25th. So, while Niantic initially blamed the congested data networks for many of the problems that people were experiencing with the game, they said it was Grant Park's Pokemon Go Fest last July. The company quickly refunded tickets to the event and gave out in-game currency as an apology. And the $1.575 million settlement proposal would reportedly cover additional crew travel costs, such as airfare, hotel costs, and up to 2 days of parking. 2 days of parking, fees, car rental, mileage, and tolls. And they said that claimants will have to prove that they checked into the event through the Pokemon Go app and provide receipts for expenses over $107. Following the Chicago event's failure, Niantic canceled plans for a similar European tour, saying that it wanted to guarantee the best possible gameplay for attendees, and that the company has since rolled out regular, smaller community day events, encouraging players to gather in specific locations around the world for special in-game rewards and bonuses. So, let's see. The settlement is a drop in the bucket for the game that's estimated to have raked in $1.8 billion in revenue at the end of 2017. Of course, revenue does not mean profits, but at the same time, 1.6 million. I mean, I guess for 20,000 people, maybe those numbers work out kind of okay, but seems like Niantic got off pretty light. Because, hey, even, we're almost like a year away from it. Pokemon Go was still a hugely popular game. So, settlement well justified. All right, so there's that one. And from app to app, we are going to cover now this one. Yeah, we have time. So there's an app out there. There are many, 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 many dating apps out there. Trust me, I've tried a number of them. Just to be clear, I've not tried this next one, but a lot of the users are understandably going to be very upset with this finding. So, Grindr. It's a thing. It's not for everyone, but for those of you who use it, well, Grindr kind of sort of did something that it wasn't supposed to. And this comes to us from Gadget, saying that Grindr reportedly shared HIV statuses with other companies. And yeah, they may not have been careful enough to actually remove all of the identifying data. That's a big thing. Because, a lot of companies gather, package, and sell data that has been stripped of personally identifiable information. So they'll take away your name, your address, your age, your GPS location, your phone ID, things like that. Usually they'll strip those away so that they have no way of saying that these data points, this set of data, belongs to this user. So those might have went out intact. But Grindr's privacy issues may extend beyond the access to data with a login, saying that BuzzFeed News and Norwegian nonprofit Sintef reported that Grindr has been sharing its users' HIV statuses, including their last test date, with two app optimization companies, Aptimize and Localistics. All right then. As that data is attached to info like email address, GPS info, and phone IDs, it's possible for an intruder to link specific people to their health information. And again, this is even beyond just their public profiles on Grindr and, be able to identify them on Facebook or the like. Sintef found that Grindr was giving ad companies an extensive range of data that users might not want to share outside the app, including the gay subculture, relationship status, and precise GPS location. Some of this info was shared in plain text, making it relatively easy to, steal. And so Engadget has reached out to Grindr for comment, and in a statement to BuzzFeed, they said that the company was following standard practices for sharing app data, and the company doesn't sell info to third parties. Optimize and Localize are under the strict contractual terms that won't let them share data. All right. So the problem, however, isn't the trustworthiness of the companies. It's that Grindr is putting sensitive information on servers it doesn't control. Happens all the time. Users may be willing to make their HIV statuses public, but that doesn't mean that they want to share those statuses with corporate partners, no matter how well-meaning and how above board those partners may be. And also, spreading that information to other companies increases the number of attack points for hackers. And people are already anxious about data sharing in light of the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where the company collected Facebook friends' info without consent. They might not be pleased at sharing medical info with a wider circle than their would-be partners. So, with that being said, what are you going to do? This seems to be a wider symptom of what we have going on here with apps and the data that they provide, and just what it is that that they want to do. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Grindr does cater to a certain subculture, as we said, and the statuses of HIV positive or negative are, of course, something broadcasted through Grindr, as I'm led to believe through this article. And yeah, that's just kind of a shame. But it goes to show that any information that you share with a company, you shouldn't be surprised that they package it, sell it, or share it with another company, even if it's just a partner. So don't assume anything you put out anywhere, especially if you don't pay for the app, is confidential, because it's really not. Even if they make every claim that it is confidential, it may not be that way forever. So, all right, there you have that. Let's see if we can leave you with one more story. Why don't we talk about? All right. So this last one, we have like a minute left. I don't think we're going to be able to get into much of this, but there is a cable company out there. They provide internet. They are huge, and they are Charter. Charter, they said that fails to prove that its employees purposefully caused cable outages, and that Charter lawsuit against Union dismissed by a judge as strike enters the second year. And again, won't be able to get into all of this, but you can see it up there on the website. We have a link to this article from Ars Technica. And yeah, they said that Charter sued IBEW Local Union Number 3 in a New York State court in October last year, alleging that union leadership orchestrated vandalism of coaxial and fiber cables that had caused outages for tens of thousands of subscribers. And that the lawsuit said vandalism hit Charter cables in New York City more than 125 times during the strike. But a court ruling on Thursday granted the union's motion to dismiss the complaint, saying that the New York Court of Appeals has held suits against the union. There we go. Has held that the suits against the unions, which are unincorporated associations, for breaches of agreement or for tortuous wrongdoings, are limited to cases where the individual liability of every single member can be alleged, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, they threw it out. Charter cannot sue the unions over what had happened to, their cables. So, again, this full article available at Computer America. We are just flat out of time. That's what that music means. Folks, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into Computer America. Hope you had a fun time, and be sure to catch us here, same time, same place, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, here on the program. So tomorrow on the show, be sure to check out, let me get this right, Tomorrow on the program, we will be talking to Mr. Corey Gallagher, and he is our Gamer Tuesday. And hey, this is gonna be a lot of fun, where we talk everything and anything having to do with video games. So folks, until next time, thank you so much, and catch you here next time. Again, I hope you had a great Easter Sunday, hope you had a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in to Computer America. Have a good one.